right, what is up, you guys? Today I'm coming at you with another tutorial. This one is going to be how to start a project in Pixlr. I'm going to do that by showing you how to create a wallpaper for your phone. So the first thing you want to do is start by going to pixlr.com and having an account. So the very first thing we're going to do is click Advanced Pixlr E. We're not using Pixlr X. Pixlr E has more tools, so that's what we're going to be using for our class. Now, as you can see, once you get to the main page of Pixlr, you can see that it's going to take you to history, and these are the projects that you've already worked on. So the good thing about Pixlr is that, let's say your computer crashes or something happens, your artwork is automatically being saved. So you don't have to save it yourself, it'll automatically save. So that's really great. There's a couple different ways that you can upload or start a new project. First one is create new, which is what we're going to be using. So there are a couple different sizes that you can choose for your project. Let's say you want to do an Instagram post, or maybe you want to make an icon like a profile picture, or maybe you even wanted to make a desktop wallpaper. These are some different ways you can do that. I want to make an iPhone wallpaper. So what I'm going to do is Google iPhone wallpaper dimensions. I already Googled it, and I have an iPhone X, so I'm going to do 1125 by 2436. Now, whatever phone you have, you just Google like Galaxy 4 wallpaper. I don't know anything about phones except for my phone. So the dimensions that I'm going to use is 1125 by 2436. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to add 1125, 2436. I can also rename it. So I'm going to name it iPhone wallpaper. So once you do that, you can decide if you want to have nothing as your first layer, or you can have a background color as your first layer. I'm just going to choose nothing because I want to show you how to add a background with color. So I'm going to click create. And if you're seeing a checkerboard, like a black and white checkerboard, gray and white, whatever you see, that means there is nothing. There's no color. There's no image. If you tried to download this as it is, there would literally be nothing. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to show you a couple other ways, but we are going to be using this particular size for our picture. So you can also stock search. Stock searching is the same thing as we talked about in the last tutorial about getting reference images and organizing them. This is another way you can do that. So if you want to just quickly search an image or what have you, you can go ahead and do that. The only reason I don't is because I like to save all my reference images, and this takes a little bit longer to upload, so I don't do it. But this isn't wrong, and you can use it. It doesn't matter. You can also click open image. So if you open image, it should show up either, if you're using a computer, your desktop or the tablet, it should show up on your picture folder, or it might show up on another folder. And it should show all your images that you have. So you can click on any of those if you want to. And then the last one is loading the URL. So I talked to you in the last tutorial about copying and pasting URLs. So I already have one uploaded or queued up here. So I'm going to copy it and paste it. You can go ahead and click on it and then press copy and then press paste. But a shortcut is on your keyboard, just hitting Control and then copy at the same time. And then to paste it, you click Control and Z, and that's paste. And then you can load it, and it'll pop up the same exact size that you have it on your other page. So I'm going to go back to my history. So those are all of the different ways that you can start a project. So I'm going to click on my iPhone wallpaper. And I already have a picture that I'd like to put into this wallpaper. So right now what I have is just the plain layer 1. So I have nothing on any of the layers. This is where you're going to work with your different layers that you have. When you're creating a piece of art, every time you add something, you're going to want it to be on a different layer. So I'd like to add something on top of this iPhone wallpaper, and I know that I want to add an image from my folder on my desktop. So anytime you want to add something, you can click the plus button, and then you can click another empty layer, an image, or text. So I'm going to click image and go to my picture and then click it. Now, obviously, this is not the size of the iPhone wallpaper. There's a bunch of space, but I can adjust that. So like you see, it popped up as its own layer. And then if it's unlocked, I'm going to show you how to lock it, unlock it. But if it's unlocked, you can, these 4 little squares are going to pop up. And those are going to help you adjust your picture. So I'd like it to be turned, and then I'm going to make the picture bigger. So if you want to turn your picture, you can go ahead and click this circle, and then it'll drag it, and I want it that way. And then I'm going to go ahead and make it bigger. And then I might want to move it. Maybe I like this better, this side better. And let's say that's what I wanted to do. So I can leave it right there. Now, let's say I don't want to touch this layer. This is exactly what I want it to be. If you want to change any settings in your picture, you're going to go to these 3 dots right here in layer settings. I'm going to change this. You can rename it just so you can have some organization. Blend mode is when you are blending 2 layers together. I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute. The transparency is how soft or hard your picture is. So if you want it to be a little bit softer, you don't want to see it as much, you can change the transparency. If I feel like I'm done and I don't want to move this layer at all, I can click lock, and then it won't move. I can't move anything above it. Well, I can move stuff above it, but I can't actually move anything once I move it above it. It's locked and I can't touch it. I'm going to click unlock. And you can see whatever's at the top is the top layer. And like I said, there's nothing on this layer. So I can't see anything no matter where I put it. So merging layers, you can merge 2 layers together. You can duplicate a layer, so you can add it and it'll make a copy of it. You can move it around. If you want to undo something, all you have to do is click Control Z, or if you want to come up here and click Edit and you click Undo and then Redo. If you want to learn a hotkey, that's what they're called. If you're using just the keys, you can, they're always right here. So I like my background. Now I want to add another layer. I want to add something on top. So I'm going to, again, click Add Image. So I click Add, and then it'll pop up as this picture. And it's a Steven Universe picture. Please do not talk to me about Steven Universe. I'm only on season 5, and I do not want to get it spoiled for me. So now I have this other layer on top. Now, like I said before, if I'm playing around with different layers and I accidentally click, it's going to move. So if I really like my background and I want to leave it that way, all I have to do is go to layer settings and click locked. And like, it won't move. So if I like where I have that image, it won't move. Something else to talk about is when you're moving things around, if you want them to be centered, you're going to notice these purple lines are going to pop up. Those are going to help you center the things on your image. And if you see kind of like 4 quadrants, like a T that's exactly in the center. So these are my 2 layers, and then I have this layer with nothing on it. So I'm going to rename it background because I'm going to change the color of it in a minute. So now I'm going to show you how to blend 2 layers together. I don't have anything on this layer, so it's not really going to matter. I'm going to go to my top layer, and I want to blend it with my other layer, my space layer. So I'm going to go ahead and click the add or the settings. I'm going to go to blend mode, and then I suggest you practice all of these, or you just play around with them all, because they all do something different. So you can see there's different options that you have that you can test out and play around with. Again, you can change the transparency to how soft or hard you want your picture to look. So I'm going to click none just for right now. I am going to show you how to add a plain color to the background. So first I want to work with this layer with nothing on it. So I want to hide my 2 images while I'm working on it. All you have to do to hide an image is click this little check. This is to show if it's visible or not. So if I want to play around with some different backgrounds, I can just work with this layer and it won't mess around with anything else. And then if I decide I don't like it, I can make it invisible as well. So I just want to make this layer a plain color. I'm going to go to this paint bucket, and then the color right here is the color that I'm using. So it's going to fill up anything that I click it on. And this is all one thing, so I'm just going to click on it, and it's going to end up being one color. And now I'm going to see how it looks with my picture. And then if I click the other layer, the space layer, it's not going to, you're not going to be able to see my color because it's on top. Let's say I wanted to change that. I can move my layers up and down, and whatever's on the top is going to be the top layer, and then you have the layers behind it and in front. Let's say I wanted to blend my space layer with my layer 1, and I did not want to blend my Steven Universe layer. I'm going to go ahead and lock my top layer, and then I'm going to go to my space layer, go to my settings, and then I'm going to try and see what kind of blend modes I can use on here. Some of them might not work. Some of them will work for sure. So I can test out and see which ones I like. I really like this one. I think I'm going to stick with this one. And I think this is where I want to stop for right now. So what we've gone over today is how to start a piece of art in Pixlr, how to resize your image to anything you want it to be resized to. And then we talked about layers, adding them, moving them around, and all the settings that you can have when you're creating your artwork. All right, so that is it for today, and I will see you in the next one.